lives and never can grow old. Right.
Good evening, people. Welcome to Reaching Out with Eddie. I know how you see me. You're not used to me looking like this, but you know, I have a guest today, and I gotta be hospitable. My guest today is Supervisor Joe Norwood. That's District 4.
That's it.
District 4. Joe, there's people thinking you ain't gonna come here. How you doing today? First, introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, Joe Norwood, Supervisor District 4.
Tell it, how long you been a supervisor?
This is actually my 6th term. I was elected in a special election to replace the late QB Sites. And since then, the people of this community have elected me 5 times since then.
That's good. We had a person, we're going to call him the concerned citizen. He didn't give us his name. He gave a list of people that he wanted to see on this show, and your name was in there. And believe it or not, you the first person to say, okay, I'm coming.
You called me and asked me to come.
And you came, and what you said to the people, they can ask you anything they want to ask you.
Hey, man, pick up the phone and call. There ain't no secret. I ain't hiding from nobody.
Hey, so, Dice, we're going to go ahead and open the phone lines up in about 15 minutes. We're going to jump right in there with the question the concerned citizen had for you.
Yeah.
So, Dyson, I think that'll help tell a lot of the things that you're doing and some of the things that you're going to do. And so, Dice, what are some of the things that the concerned citizen wanted to know?
Okay, give me just a second. Let me pull it up here.
And Joe, you don't get any credit for this, but it was your idea. It was your brainstorm. Could you tell the people about the Vilma Young Center that it was you? It wasn't Percy Bland. It wasn't any of the people that they got on the plaque. It was you and Dustin Markham, but mostly it was you. Am I right? Could you tell
well,
people
you have to realize I'm a little different when it comes to publicity. I spent 25 years in the broadcast industry, so I understand the marketing and the publicity part. Mm-hmm. And I learned a long time ago, if you eliminate who gets the credit, you pretty much can get whatever you need done in a community. So if you're seeking for credit, you always got to deal with the naysayers and all of those people, and you put it out there what you want to do. I discovered if I'm going to do something, and if I announce it to the people, there may be some people who try to block that before I get it done.
That's right.
So the best thing for me to do is go focus on the mission, get the job done, and just let people know what has been done. That's the best way that I know how to deal with politics.
And that's one of the things that I'm trying to do now is to let the people know that it was you. It was your idea. Could you tell how that came about and what your contribution were?
The way that came about, the conversation was initiated with me and Kevin Magruder. We was at some blues event.
Hey, Kevin.
And I asked him, however, I said, hey, look, man, they need a community center over in East End. There's some grant money out there, and I can take that money and use it in my district for some things, but we had already done some of those things in our district, and I knew the kids over in East End did not have access to those kind of facilities. And the grant was for $600,000. So when we brought the city to the table, they said, okay, let us take the lead. Okay, we pledged the grant over to them. We pledged $250,000 in kind, and then we put up $50,000 cash from the money that was allocated to the district to go into that point. So roughly the county has, $900,000 tied up into the program. And we went over a little on the in kind, but that's what you have to do because they had to go back in there and redo the parking lot, sidewalk, and those kind of things. But when you look at the big picture, in the East End area, I used to go over and just kind of watch kids in the summertime, and they just walk the street with nowhere to go and nothing to do. And I just think it's sad whenever you have a community that don't invest in its senior citizen and its children, and that's why those kids end up in trouble. And that was my reason for doing that. It has nothing to do with anything other than I think sometimes people lose sight of things and they say, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. Okay, if I don't do this or don't do that, there's one person that affect. It'll probably affect children. So we're talking about children here. We ain't talking about nobody else but children. So that's my mission on that.
And so what are some of the things? I was under the impression that the only people used that was the Boys and Girls Club. I was wrong. It was an error.
No, well, the Boys and Girls Club, now here's what people need to understand about the Velma Young Center. It was the Boys and Girls Club data that was used to get the grant, because that grant was done through a low-income area like that, and we used the data from the Boys and Girls Club within that East End area to get that worked out that way. So it was the data that we pulled from residents of the East End area that focused in through the Boys and Girls Club when we was able to get the $600,000. So the Boys and Girls Club go to Velma Young Center on a regular basis, roughly between 2 and 5 or 6 in the evening. But there's other activities during the day where they have exercise, recreation, educational program for seniors and things like that, because they have a director over there. And after 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening when the club leave, there are other programs that's over there as well.
It's I don't know whether you know, you probably do, but I'm a 5th degree black belt in Taekwondo, Hapkido, Musakwan, and I'm still active. And one of the things that my son-in-law wanted to do was to bring me over there and let me start teaching classes, and I would be able to teach the children and everybody. But somebody higher up stopped him and would not allow Posey. He had to talk to Trent Posey, and Trent Posey obviously told him no, because as you see, I'm not there, and they don't have. And again, the people that suffer from that are our children.
At the end of the day, that's who's going to suffer. Now, were you charging them a fee for doing that?
I would have did a pro bono,
yeah.
and I'm still not there. We never got to that point. He really wanted me over there to teach classes to those children. And I can say I have an impressive alumni. Most of the guys that I taught when they're young, they're all doing well. Graduated from college, doing very well, very disciplined. And I've encountered things in my life, had it not been for martial arts, I would not have been able to prevail in it. And I'm a non-traditional college graduate. And so, you know, and I think, I've been in trouble before. I talked about that on this show. And one of the things I can say is that martial art helped me a great deal in the discipline, so that I would be just only one time and never went back.
Yeah. Just so you know, I did kickboxing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
But me and Joe gonna have to go at it now.
Man, I kick your ass.
Yeah, see, you can tell we related. His wife is in here. She's very beautiful too.
Thank you very much. Let me ask you something. Should I treat you like I'm your guest and you guest, or however, or should I treat you like family? Because there's a difference. All right.
But both of them.
Because you know I come with two versions of me. There's that political correct side, and then there's Joeology.
Hey,
you about to pull Joeology out, man.
Joeology gonna be ideology, and it ain't gonna be right.
See, I told you, man. I know you messed up when you said you was akin to me.
But I can, and for those of my relatives out there wondering why we're in Marengo County.
That's right.
Yeah, Marengo County. Yeah. Our roots tie in at Marengo County. But anyway, Joe, what's the question the person wanted to know, Dice? And folks, you can call in. You know, we gonna open up the phone lines for you.
Okay. This says, can you ask Mr. Norwood how much as a board do they contribute to EMBDC? What kind of accountability is there for the money that is contributed?
Okay, that's the question?
Yeah,
that's one of them. They got several.
The Board of Supervisors contribute $282,000 a year to EMBDC. EMBDC been in existence for roughly 20 years. You know, it used to be the partnership and all of that. Right. They merged the Chamber of Commerce, all that together. Now they call it the EMBDC. And the way that they start contributing to $282,000 is that $282,000 used to be what one meal was in Lauderdale County. Well, today, one meal is worth north of $600,000.
Wow. So
the board do not give that meal like they started out doing. What they did was stuck with that amount. So if we was going to continue to contribute one meal of revenue to economic development, it would be $600,000+ instead of $282,000.
I think what the caller wants to want to know is that money is, the opinion of the caller and myself is that money is not cost effective because we're giving them money, but they're not doing anything, bringing any type of economic development into this county or into this community. We got enough restaurants and enough food. I'm even overweight and I'm still small. and I think that's what and that's what they mean by accountability.
I understand.
To just continue to just lockstep give them $250,000 and they're not doing anything, basically paying them to do nothing or either to keep industry out, because you can see this is almost turned into a ghost town.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to differ with that.
Okay.
And your opinion and the callers are the question and all of that. And here's why I do that now. I don't know whether any of you have been involved in trying to hire economic development director. There are economic development directors in the state of Mississippi that make that much money. So if the Board of Supervisors did not have, say, a EMBDC, and you got to realize that's the vision of the Chamber of Commerce and all of that. You have to also realize there's 75 business and industry here that EMBC nurses as existing business and industry, and they all have totally different needs. So you may not see them bringing in jobs, but I would never say they're not doing anything, because there's a lot of work that get done that people don't know. It's kind of like people may say, I don't do anything.
No, we know you do a lot. But
at the same time,
such as?
Well, when you think about it, like you said, you got 75 business there. You got probably over 1,000 members. And all of those businesses and industries have different kind of needs. And is the economic development role is to make sure that they cater to those business and industries and making sure that they help them be successful, if you want to say. So at one point we had a Chamber of Commerce and all of that is merged and all of that. So the amount of money that we put in, and even we have some board members may feel the same way, that they're not doing anything. Bringing jobs and bringing business and industry in the community is a tough deal.
The acronym for EMBDC?
EMBDC, that's
that?
East Mississippi Business Development Corporation.
Stop right there. What business have they developed, or what corporation have they developed since you've been here? Since you've been supervisor?
Oh, God. Since I've been supervisor, you know, I wished I had known earlier, and I could have actually had a list of all of those in my mind, because it's kind of like I tell the family, man, we deal with so many issues and subject matters every day.
But if you
don't let them stick. Hold on, I tell you, there's Takuro Corporation. There was Handy Hardware that belted up. Then there's One Meridian that ended up belting it up. There was, you know, we had, not Lockheed Martin, but down in Forest, we thought at one point we was going to be building the T-100 jets and all of that stuff here. There are numerous of business and industry that we do with it, and I know there are times, and I can recall times when I would have to sit in on meetings with people who was coming in this community looking at property and all that stuff. At one point we had option on 1,500 acres of land up in the Kewanee exit when we were looking at doing some stuff with Kia when the market crashed and all of that. So you can't make those things happen. Those things will never happen overnight or in a period of time. And then I'm only saying it from my perspective, because to give you a thing, we're trying to build a walking track, right?
Right.
A hiking bike track along Sawashi. That's been going on 10 years, man.
It ain't happened yet.
But here's the deal. We have the money set aside for $1 million to do it. The holdup was just recently, and I'm going to get back to that, is the fact that the state requires for you to have a stormwater certified person on site. Well, we didn't have one in town. Okay? And those are pretty much engineers and construction managers.
Like that is designed to keep us, because I was getting ready to tell you, Two Belt, your cousin, my brother.
Okay,
Two Belt to go down there and fix that for half. Well, you know, we're going to charge you half that, but you're going to keep half for it, and we'll live good at it, and it'll be right. Two Belt, but see, that certification is things like that. It keeps a lot of us from doing the job.
Yeah, it's kind of like a business. If you can't go out and you bond yourself out for $1 million or $2 million, you can't get bonding.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people that look like us can do the job, but can they afford the insurance bond to complete the job.
You're right, because at one time they used to send me things for me to bid on that the Meridian Housing Authority did.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I never did bid on anything for that very thing, because the
Because
insurance,
you couldn't get the bonding.
I could get it, but if I'm going to get it, I want a job, and then you got to take a chance on getting the job or not getting the job. You got to have insurance, you got to have workman comp, you got to have everything, and it's way up there. So it keep a lot of us out, and you're right, it's the insurance, the bond that keep us out of it.
But now also to that, there are minority alliance business group that those people should really participate in, and you may find somebody in there that you can partner with and do that. And I think sometimes we don't collaborate enough. And you have to realize, when you think about this country, this city, this county, this state, this nation, this world, even though it was built by us, it wasn't built for us. So we got to find a way to get around all of those loopholes to make sure we do that. And the best thing to do is try to bring your people along. Sometimes you can, sometimes you just can't.
Yeah. One of the things that I like to do is I like to spend my own money. I don't like to partnership with anyone, because I don't know, maybe that's a trust issue. My brother David, he like to do all the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gonna make sure he's hands on. I think Dice is like that. Am I right, Dice? He has a peculiar way of painting. He's gonna do all this work, and I say that it will limit their income, and it limits mine.
Absolutely.
It stops me from going into. I incorporate, but as an LLC.
Yeah.
But it'll stop me from forming a big corporation, and it definitely controls the income.
Yeah, I've always taught 2% of anything is better than 100% of nothing.
Yeah.
And I just think sometimes there are jobs that requires minority to set aside, and you can set aside, say, 10% of a minority contract. If you don't have the minority here to do that, you just held up your project.
That's right.
And you have to make sure, do I want to hold this project up looking for somebody who can get 10% of it due to the minority and all of that, and timing is everything, and conditions, environment, and now we're in a pandemic, so a lot of those things weigh and play in on those kind of things.
Well, I got to touch upon the pandemic, then we're going to read that next question. That's very good. Thank you. I hope that satisfies you concerning.
If not, hey, pick up the phone and call me, and I'd be happy to show you.
Okay. One thing, the pandemic, people, I got to say this, is that we passed, 1 million people?
Oh, yeah, there's 1 million people dead with
I'm a
pandemic.
statistician. There are 7.8 billion people in the world as of this year. Almost 8 billion people. 1 million is less than 0.0025%. It's less than 1% of the total world population. The mortality rate for COVID is only 2.3. 2.3, the amount of people that died in the United States so far is still less than it's almost, from a statistical point of view, it's almost immeasurable.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on, folks, but it's not, if you look at the big picture, everybody gets scared when you talk about 1 million, but when you compare that to being 7 billion, y'all do the math. What is 10% of 8 billion? You're talking about 700 million.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I did the 2.3% mortality rate, it was like 98 million of that billion. So we ain't nowhere near that. And then it's at the very bottom of the scale when you talk about rabies. More people die from rabies. Rabies have a higher mortality rate. So does influenza. SARS-CoV-19 is at the very bottom of the mortality scale at 2.3. And y'all can Google that. So we don't know what's going on and what the government got planned. But stay safe and continue to practice that. Dice, what's that next question?
Hey,
Joe, you might want to say something. I know Joe going to
let me speak on that.
That's my cousin right here.
I hear that 2.1 point, those percentage and all things like that, and you have to realize, to me, those are just numbers that you can play with. You understand that? Now, here's the deal. If you had lost 2 dozen people out of your family, hell, you wouldn't care nothing about 2%. All you know, you lost 2 dozen people out of your family. So the numbers are that way, and it goes back again. At one point, they thought it was only affecting people of color, Hispanics, Asian or something like that. Now it's kind of affecting everybody. I hear that number. What I know is in the last 6 months, this country had lost 205,000 people. That should not have been.
The population, you have more people dying from accidental death for influenza. If you look at that percentage, you got
absolutely,
over
because you travel.
How many 300 million people in the United States? That's less than 1%. I mean,
Okay.
that's less than, that's like about 1.8% of the population.
Yeah,
died.
but you can't control accidents. Here's the thing about pandemic. That should have been something that we should have been on to. We don't have a national report for that. And I know they want to let this thing ride out and just let everybody die off, and then we just...
I think that's what it's going to have to do.
That's what, and it sounds like you're in agreement with that,
I
and I
am.
am not. I am not in agreement with that.
And,
It's kind of like
and
I
we're
had.
talking about averages now.
Oh, I understand
We're talking about averages.
Yeah,
Meaning that it could be 10 here, but none over here, but it overall it still ain't but 2.3%.
well, here's where the average come in. Hell, the 10 is on my side, so I don't give a rat's ass about what you're talking about on the other side. I'm just telling you what I feel and what I know, and what has affected me and my family and stuff like that. So your numbers don't really mean that much to me. I just understand. Here's how: accident is an accident. They happen. The COVID is something that should have been prevented. The federal government should has a plan in place right now to deal with those kind of things, and they don't not dealing with that. I mean, we've been misled from this administration all the way down. Look, CDC, we all used to believe and depend on what they say now. You have the administration that's actually manipulating the data and all of that stuff. The CDC don't send out the information anymore. Now they have to send it to the White House. And you know what happens when stuff go to the White House. It just ain't getting passed down the way it need to be passed down. And not just necessarily blaming anyone, but just according to, when you talk about statistics, the way things used to be, normally we could look to the CDC for that guidance and that information. Now, it's kind of like the Bible. You need to study and show yourself approved and make sure that you are doing at least those three things, in my opinion. Making sure you're socially distancing yourself, making sure that you're wearing a mask, and staying away from crowds and all of those kind of things. And I just encourage that for people.
I agree too, and I encourage that, because not only just COVID, but you're talking about common cold, you're talking about the flu, you're talking about so many different things that you prevent from catching it if you was to socially distance yourself. So this is something that's probably not going away anytime soon. I think
not for another year and a half.
I agree with that.
We'll be in the first quarter of 2022. They're still talking about the COVID-19.
Okay, Dice, man. What's the next question?
Okay. Next question is, what do we in the county get from the EMBDC for our money?
You've already answered that question.
Well, let me go back to the EMBDC with the county now.
Okay.
Here's the other thing. The city of Meridian also contributes, when they do contribute, to the EMBDC. Because sometimes they may pull their fundings and stuff like that, and money get tight, and you just have to do those kind of things. I don't know they financial status and all of that. What you get is you have a Chamber of Commerce type situation with the EMBDC. Then you have a director at the EMBDC, and their director is not hired by the Board of Supervisors.
Who hires it?
The Board of Directors. EMBDC has a Board of Directors of business and industry leaders and stuff like that. Bill Hanna reports to those people. Now, we just contribute our money to that association, and basically EMBDC is nothing but a liaison for business association throughout Meridian and a lot of their county and stuff like that. Right. And then they have other groups, and like I said, there's 75 businesses that's here in this community that tied in. And I would challenge anyone to have any question about EMBDC, just call any business or any industry in Meridian and ask them what they get, because they contribute their money personally. We only putting in $282,000. The other business and industry.
Do they have a budget?
Oh God, I mean, I do not know exactly what their total budget is, but all of those business and industries pay a fee every year to be a member of that corporation. So they just a corporation for business and industry in here. And if you think they're not doing anything, just pick up the phone and call some of the local businesses and ask them, what do they get out of it? Now, here's the other thing. If you're not a business and you're not an industry, they may not be doing nothing for you. But if you are a business or industry here, or you're a part of that market, you would think different than saying that. And sometimes we should be cautious when we say people don't do anything. And I'm not taking up for that. I'm just saying, just make sure you know what they do.
Yeah, well, they might do things for the 75 businesses around here, but they ain't doing nothing for the community around here because we don't have any what you call livable jobs in this area in the county or the city. We don't have any real jobs here. We don't have income here. I mean, the quality of life is steadily trending around here, so I can see that. And I'm not going to attribute that to just the EMBDC. I think a lot of it has a lot to do with a lot of things around here. You know?
Well, let me say this to you. If today, if we land an industry like an automotive industry, and we needed 2,000 employees, do you realize you had to go through at least 125,000 applications to get 2,000 employees?
And I agree. And again, that's this community here. We have a school system that's an F in Meridian. I don't know what it is in the county, but it's not B. Maybe one of them might be. But we have a failing school system in this area. No parent is going to bring their children here, and their children cannot be educated. You have high crime here. You have police that focus on one segment of the community. You have a police, and they just had this on WTOK today, that the leadership, the changing in leadership, and at the Meridian Police Department. So industry is not coming in here until you fix those kind of problems. They have not yet got rid of Amy Carter, and she's been an F for the last 3 years. Her first F, she should have been sent out of the door if our children mean anything to us. And
okay.
Yeah.
Now let me share something with you, because I'm one of those people that's data driven. When I heard you speaking of Miss Carter, I don't know much about what you're talking about. What I can tell you, how the facts about that is, Miss Carter has a school board, and she's their only employee, so she answers to the board. Now the principals and the educators and the teachers and all that answer to Miss Carter. Now if there was an issue with Miss Carter, we need to take that issue up with the board of directors, because they is the one that hire her, even though the school board members themselves are appointed in the city by the mayor and approved by the council. In the county, school board members are elected, and there are no more school board superintendents that are elected. Elected, because now they are all being appointed. They've done away with that.
I'm over here about to explode.
I know you are. You're always on the edge.
But I can tell you this, that everything you say is correct. See, we have a school board that's all white, and we got a majority black school system. See, I'm going to make things black and white issue because
hey, look, I have a problem with that if that's the case, and I didn't know that.
And not only that.
No, the school board is not all white.
If they got one black person there.
They got two black. They got Ron Turner, and that lady name is Miss Sheila Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, two black.
Well, they got.
I don't know who else on there. I have not been to a school board meeting for a long time.
I think all of them should be black. You got Ron Turner. I think Ron Turner has outlived his usefulness in this community. I'm just speaking candidly, because you and I could talk about so many different things, because we can go and talk about the problems that they have in public housing, but we're not going to do that. I don't think Ron Turner should be on the school board because his housing is out of whack, and I don't think that you put anybody on a school board that never been in education. We have so many. They don't pay the teachers enough, and you have so many teachers that are there teaching and don't have teacher certification. Then you got a lot of people around there with GEDs or either no education. The substitute teachers that's around there acting like they do have a college education, that's around there instructing our children and telling them what to do, and really creating problems for our children because they haven't been properly trained themselves. And they're not going to care about you. Nobody gonna care about your child more than you do.
That's right.
Nobody gonna care about our children more than we do.
That's right.
And we have too many people that are not like us in position over us, not giving our children adequate role models, and that's just the truth. And the school board, it starts at the top. Because, Percy, we got to get rid of him. We got to get rid of that school board. I'm talking, we got to clean house. It's simple as that. If we want this community to grow, and then perhaps the East Mississippi Business Association can be a viable organization once we fix things like education and leadership. That's got to be fixed first.
I understand that. And when you talk about education and all of that, I've been in this world more than 6 decades, and every day,
not longer than me.
Yeah, every day I realize how I was robbed with my education, because the things that I was taught ain't necessarily the truth, and the things that I didn't get are the things that I really needed to know. Once again, we built this country, but it wasn't built for us. And I just think when it comes to education and when it comes to history and all of these kind of things, we have been misled all along the way about that. I don't know the makeup of the city superintendent, the school system, and the board of directors. Now, what you have to realize as a county supervisor, my role is to make sure that we levy the taxes for the county school
That's
system.
right. That's right.
So
That's right.
that is the difference where the city has a right to appoint and the council has a right to approve. In the county, we don't have that. Those board members go out and they get elected, and the superintendent is appointed by the board of directors anyway. So that's the difference in the city and the county schools. I wish things was different.
And so do I.
I wish our children was getting what I know is available to them in the classroom. And I think it goes back to, it says nobody gonna care about our children anymore than us do. We have to make sure that when our children get up in the morning time and walk out that door headed to school, they're going to school to learn. I think sometimes our kids is sent off to school just to get them out of the house. And
That's
you
right.
got to make sure your children are leaving home to go be educated. And that is probably the best thing that any child can do for themselves is educate their mind. That's just my views on all of that.
I agree with you, Joe. And folks, I got to tell you that I always had a lot of respect for Joe. And we didn't find out till we later was related. But I can say this, that him and I probably fight a lot. He's
Yeah,
not
we
gonna,
do.
well, we fight a lot. We fight alike, you know.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this is that I got my degree in sociology. In sociology, you have to rise yourself up on the mountaintop and look down upon the village, meaning that you got to separate yourself from your personal feelings. And I think anybody in any kind of leadership position need to be able to take their personal feelings out of it and look at the good of the village. And that's what's wrong with so bad in this community. There's so many people, Joe, so many people that get personal and they don't give us the most qualified individual, the most qualified person. And again, it's our children that suffer.
It's toxic now. Right now, that's one of the reasons that I guess I'm the person that I am. I spent years in the broadcast business, and you got to realize I used to interview all of these public officials and stuff, and when I had a mic in their face, they would give me an interview. The minute I took the mic down, they'd say to me, well, you know, the real story is. So it's one of those things you can't be truthful with people. I'm just going to let you know the truth. It's best to put the truth out there up front. So I just view it as we just have to make sure that when you go to the polls to vote, you need to have done your research on those people that
That's
you
right.
have a right to vote for. And make sure you vote for someone who you feel comfortable that will represent you. You know, I hear people say, well, I don't vote, I'll never vote because it don't make a difference. You're exactly right. If you don't go to the poll to vote, it ain't going to make a difference. And I just think that we are facing, you know, I've been hearing my whole life, this is the most important election it is. This is the most important election it is. From my position,
That's right.
I can't think of any time on this earth that we are faced with the election that's more important than this one, because this election is, in my opinion, not about Democrats and Republicans.
That's right.
This election is about the savior of democracy.
That's right.
And it just depends on how it goes, whether all of that will be in question or not.
Because if he get reelected, it's out. It's gone. And there needs to be some accountability. I just believe in that. If I hope Joe Biden
I got some
wins.
farmland over in Alabama. I say you, man, you're going back to the field.
I still got $1. I'm just
Hey, where the look here? Hey, look, man. The 40 acres and the mule been put on the table, and we still here talking about it. But I tell you what, I trade mine in. You can have your 40 acres. Just give me a penthouse somewhere, and you can keep your mule. I'll take a convertible.
I'm going to South America. I'm going to go to Brazil. Philippines somewhere. I have enough money. I can go down there and live pretty comfortable with a live-in maid. A mom can come and cook for me. And
hey, I tell you what, send us your address, man. We love to travel. We'll visit you. Yeah, but man, this life has changed for us, whether we realize it or not. The pandemic has changed the way we live. 9/11 changed the way we live. We have gotten
Percy Bland changed the way we live. I had to throw that in there. I apologize.
Y'all be riding Percy ass so hard.
I don't
What's with
think that
that?
I should talk about Percy while Joe is sitting here. So Joe, I'm gonna run you up out of here in about another 20 minutes
Hey,
or so.
that's
I
okay,
just
man.
can't-
But I don't know.
just can't-
I don't know about it.
I just gotta say.
I hear things, and I can't say that about it. Here's the other thing. And when people ask me, I always say, wait a minute, I gave you a choice when Percy ran for mayor. I ran for mayor too. You chose him. So my job as elected official is to support you have in office.
That's right.
So I'm not going to not support anybody in public office or
That's
anything.
right.
If you come to me and if I have resources, I'm going to help you.
That's right.
And here's the other thing. I can help you today, and you can throw me under the bus tonight, and you can come back to me in the morning. If I have resources available to help you, I will help you. Most people won't do that.
You're right.
And that's where the problem normally come in, and then you start deciding, do I need to do this or do I need to do that? Because you just lost focus of what's going on, because the help was for helping children or those people in need. You only worry about who are those people who are there to get the help, and that's just what that is.
I believe you got a phone call coming in.
Hey.
We're going to answer this.
Let's see.
Okay, caller, go ahead. You here with Supervisor Ed Hope?
What up, Eddie Gray Hope? This is Lolo. What up, Joe?
Low!
Hello.
W-L-O-L-O. What's up, girl? I ain't heard from you in a while. What's been happening with you?
I called your phone. You don't got your number changed, Supervisor.
No. My number ain't changed. You ain't mean I still got like 5 numbers on you. You ain't called one of them 5, which... Hey,
Well,
I tell
check
you
this
what,
out.
I make sure I get your number from one of these.
I call in to be messy.
That's all
but
right.
I call
That's
in to
okay.
be good messy, though.
That's okay.
Okay, talking about EMBDC.
Yeah.
Okay, you spoken of those business, 70-some business. Do you think those business had something to do with this company not bringing in decent paying jobs? I'm going to tell you the reason why I say that. I remember some years ago, I think it was around about 96, 95, we were going to get this car industry here. I can't remember whether or not it was a Nissan or Mercedes-Benz plant. And I remember Harvey Peebles standing at the city council meeting telling the council, if y'all allow that industry to come here, I'm going to take my business and move it elsewhere. Now, where is his company at now? Isn't it overseas? We never got, you know what they did? They bypassed us and went to Union or went to Canada. They bypassed us. Some of these business owners, it's like family origin. They ain't gonna hire anybody but family, and they will do anything they can to stop a factory coming here. They're gonna pay a decent paying job. So I think EMBD, whatever you call it, you know what I'm talking about.
EMBDC.
I think the other business don't want to pay their employees nothing other than minimum wage. So what they do is they will stop them from bringing decent jobs here. Now, here's what I had to tell you about Supervisor Joe Norwood. I remember a few years ago, you fought so hard with this administration. If I'm not mistaken, you giving Percy Bland a blueprint of inside sportsplex that was going to be built right there where the Frank Cochran Center is. And Percy Bland kept that contract on his desk. I mean, it collected mildew, it collected dust, and we never gotten that sportsplex. But I remember back in 2016, Supervisor Norwood, it was you and I, all the Percy Bland department heads, met right there up on the pavilion next to Magnolia Swimming Pool. I remember this like it was yesterday. It was during the groundbreaking of the neighborhood Walmart on Highway 39. The supervisor had a work session meeting that same day upstairs, and I attended that work section meeting, and I thought you was leaving the work section meeting to go to the groundbreaking of the neighborhood Walmart. But in fact, I get a phone call from Percy telling me that you with him in the department head, and I get there, and sure enough, you was there, and he talked to me about pushing for this 2% tax increase, beverage and food tax increase, and say all the funding will go toward this new art and entertainment center. Okay, just today, the city council voted to give the art and entertainment center $100,000. Shouldn't it be self-funded by now? Why they need to give the art and entertainment center $100,000? And then they charge you money to go up in there. But do you recall, Percy said, Lo, if you please get behind me and push for the 2% food and beverage tax increase, I will make sure to sign off on that contract, and we will get our sportsplex. Do you remember that conversation up on the pavilion next to Magnolia Swimming Pool? Because I remember like it was yesterday.
I never thought about it until you just brought it up. I did not submit that to memory, but I do remember that. Lo, you have so much stuff out there.
But check this out, Joe Norwood. So when Percy Bland attempts to hire you as his park and rec department head, I ain't gonna lie, Supervisor Norwood. I was 38 high. I'm like, Supervisor Norwood should have anything to do with that bald head bastard, the way he allowed that contract collect dust on his desk. I'm like, ain't no way.
See, that's the
you know,
difference between me
Supervisor
and most
Norwood.
people. I just got through telling you that.
Yeah, and I'm the same.
Now, Eddie Gray Ho, Eddie Gray Ho, I told you this. Now I'm gonna repeat it again. While Supervisor Norwood on the phone, it was some kind of, I think it was Jane E. Cheney Day over at the Velma Young, not the Velma Young, excuse me, Jane E. Cheney Park. And I walked up to you and I said, Supervisor Norwood, I said, when you ran for mayor, I said, I'm going to be straight up with you. I didn't vote for you because I didn't want to lose you as our district supervisor.
I know that.
You remember that?
I know that. That's
That
what
was
people told me.
that was the only way.
Yeah.
But look, I didn't vote for Percy because I didn't know Percy.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to lose you as our supervisor.
I appreciate that.
I wish, you know what? I wish you would run for goddamn mayor.
Me too.
Let me go back and answer some of this stuff.
Look, you run for mayor, and then make Winston Lindeman like your CAO. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Weston is young, but that's an intelligent young man. He's very intelligent. Let me tell you what the city council done today. They voted to give the Art and Entertainment Center $100,000. The Children's Museum, $100,000. They ain't even built yet. They don't giving them money countless of times. Giving Jimmy Rogers Museum $30,000. I don't know the last time I saw someone there. And they ain't gonna get a Boys and Girls Club $25,000 million. And I'm like, oh my God, all those kids that Mr. Hood served, it's just not right here in Meridian, 45th Avenue. I heard y'all talking about the new Velma Young Center. Supervisor Norwood, I'm going to give you kudos because if it wasn't for you, that son bitch wouldn't be standing right there. It was you was in the room when that conversation was discussed, and you called back to Meridian, Mississippi, and talked to these so-called important people. But it was you that brought that project to the city. It was you.
Now,
well, anyway.
while I got you on the air, you said the next day, so when are you coming on this podcast and you can talk about all that? Are you coming Thursday or you coming next Tuesday? You on the air,
I tell you what, give me next Tuesday. I get that tune-up done on my car. Give me to next Tuesday. I want to make sure my shit don't stop on me on my way there.
So next Tuesday, Lolo coming. We gonna.
Hey, break that whip out, Lolo. You got my number, girl. You broke down somewhere. You can call me.
But one more thing, though. I tell you what, Supervisor Norwood, Eddie Gray Ho, I told you this before. That's the only supervisor that go in other ward, other district and do things. Just like there's a big old tree right down the street from Old Man's Road apartment. It fallen 2 years ago when we had that tornado on the east side of town. And that tree stump was in that lady's yard for I don't know how long. Well, I called Supervisor Norwood, and he sent the folks over there to get it up. That's like down there at Jane E. Cheney Park. They can't barbecue in Davis Court. I called Supervisor Norwood. Can we get some grills over here in Jane E. Cheney Park? He put brand new grills in there. So it's never been a time I asked him for anything. He didn't do it. And he didn't have to do it because it was me. He done it because he loves serving the people. That's the reason why I think it would be a great idea if Supervisor Norwood will run for mayor and make Weston Lindeman his CAO.
Hey, let me tell you what a man told me one time. He said, Norwood, you 62 years old. And the next 10 years should be the best 10 years of your life. He said, if you put your name on that ballot to run for mayor, you'll probably get elected, and they're going to be the worst 10 years of your life. These people are going to send you straight to hell. But anyway, just to say that, I don't have any interest in running for mayor. But Lolo, you brought up a lot of things. Let me clear this because sometimes people don't understand. The sportsplex at Highland Park, we had done the feasibility study, the engineering, soil sampling. We had done all of these things. We spent somewhere close to $250,000 in doing all of those things. We had in the bank $14 million to erect this facility. Two things happened the reason this facility didn't happen. Hank Floyd was a big supporter of it and stuff like that. We went to Chancery Court. We won. It was appealed. It went to the state Supreme Court. The state Supreme Court told us they would rule probably in 6 months. It ended up taking 2 years. During that 2 years of time, we never got the interlocal agreement from the city administration to erect it, and all we need was a signature to move forward with.
All you needed was a person's signature.
The mayor and the city council, they would be the one to sign off on that. The money was in the bank. We never got a signature to move forward with that. And then when the election came up, Hank Floyd did not run. Jonathan Whale ran. Wayman Newell and Kyle Rutledge was totally against the project. Jonathan voted with them the first board meeting in January. They strapped the project. They took the $14 million and they spent that money paving streets somewhere across the county. So that was the thing about that. Something else you talked about, Lo, you threw up so much stuff there, girl. I should have been sitting there writing it down and all. They talk about Velma Young. That's just one of those projects we have to use. You talk about the Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club, that is probably the number one, in my opinion, organization to help the school system educate their children. Because if it wasn't for the Boys and Girls Club, there are a lot of kids would not have a positive place to be. You have to realize the city and the county both own that facility together. And I always tell all the leaders, I say, if you have the floors at City Hall and the courthouse, a lot of their kind of waxed, you own the Boys and Girls Club. Why you don't wax their floor? You own the building. Only because the Boys and Girls Club, the reason you're not waxing it. So that's just my thing about Boys and Girls Club.
We're gonna take a small break, Lo, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna read those comments, and then we're gonna let you take us home.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thanks for calling in. Dice Man, well, we basically answered one thing he wanted to know before we go to break, and then we'll go to break. He wanted to know about your relationship. What is it that you and Kim doing? You never mentioned her name out of all the talk you've been doing today. Do y'all ever work together, or is that necessary? She ever reach out to you, or you ever try to?
Kim and I used to talk. She would refer people to me when people call, ask for something like that. All of Ward 4 sits inside of District 4. Mm-hmm. There's a third of Ward 5 that sits inside of District 4, and there's a third, if not half, of Ward 3 that sits inside of District 4. So all of those city wards touches District 4 anyway. When every one of those people have gotten elected, I picked up the phone and called and congratulated them and told them where they wards coming with inside the county district, and if there's anything I can do to collaborate with them or work with them. This past Thursday, we used to have a sitting city county efficiency meeting. That was from the John Robert Smith days. We met this past Thursday with the sitting county efficiency, and we met last month. That was the second 2 meetings we have had probably in years. And that is for the city to put on the table what they are working with, and the county to put on the table what they are working with. You talked about the Park and Recs job. Percy Bland, the mayor, asked me, could I get 3 votes to be the Park and Recs director? I said, I don't know. I asked Dr. Thomas. He gave me his word, looking me in my eyes. I asked Tyrone Johnson, and I asked Fannie Johnson, and all 3 of them told me I had their vote. Percy appointed me, and when it was time to make me the Park and Recs director, they all backed out on that. I have not had a conversation I saw Dr. Thomas once since that was last August. Mm-hmm. I have not seen Fannie Johnson. I have not had a conversation with Kim Houston. She told me she would not support me because she did not want to lose what she said. Me being on the county board of supervisors, and basically sometimes you just don't realize you just lost me at that point. But no, we should be meeting and talking on a regular basis. We don't do that.
And not only her, but the other Fannie and
no, we don't. We don't. We should be doing that. It's no reason for us not to do that. I'm just glad that we at least started the city county efficiency meeting. I tried to share that with all of them when they first came in, just to let them know that the interlocal agreements and the MOUs and the MOIs and all those things that the city and county have, just to bring them up to speed so they know it. Because when you get elected to public office, man, it is so much going on around you. It is impossible for you to keep up if someone is not feeding you good information, and make sure you know what go along the way. Now, personally, I thought they took $75,000 out of my household because you know damn well I was qualified to run a park and rec director. Hell, I'm a college athlete, and then they say, oh, you're a college athlete. Hell, I managed the county. I've been the president 4 times, and you think I can't run a park and rec's office? That was just personal, but I let that be what it is at that point, and we have not communicated since last August. I can tell you that right now.
Well, thank you for that. Dice, let's go to break, and then we'll come back and we'll read comments, and then we'll close out.
If I had my way, I tell you what I do. I'd make it all okay, and peace for me and you. I know you've got troubles, but out of that you learn. It's the things you want most are the things you gotta earn. Ha, ha, ha. Running away, we need some rejuvenation. Tell the truth. Running away, leaving a bad situation. Running away, we need some rejuvenation. Running away, leaving a bad situation. Tell me, if you get confused, don't you go nowhere else. You're gonna find all you need right there in yourself. We all like to boogie, but life is not a game. Now, if we don't hurry up, none of this will change. Ooh, we keep running away. We need some rejuvenation. Running away, leaving a bad situation. That's what I'm trying to tell you, people. Running away, we need some rejuvenation.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Nardo sitting right here with my friend and cousin Eddie Gray Hope. We just got through listening to some Frankie Beverly and mine running away, and we ain't gonna run away, but it's getting close to getting up out of here. And I just want y'all to know that y'all tune in and listen to Eddie over here. He got a lot of good stuff going on. I just got to keep my cousin under control over here. He got my blood in him.
Boy, that was all right. Hey, Dice, man, what are some of those comments?
Give me just a second, folks.
Hey, while you're talking about that, let me just run down a few
go
things
ahead.
that I do outside of Meridian and Lauderdale County
touch
that
upon
affect this
Multi
community
County.
so people
Yeah.
don't realize.
Yeah.
I chaired Multi County for 8 years, and I rolled off the board this past March. But due to the pandemic, I'm kind of like a one-man advisory board because they are not seeing clients in there, and the board is just only meeting on Zoom and all that kind of stuff. You have to realize we participate in the farm to family feeding program. Every Friday for 6 weeks, I unloaded 18-wheeler full of fruits and vegetables, hand them out, make sure people have something to eat. We do the Mississippi Food Network. We provide Meals on Wheels, the homeless shelter, Lockheed, weatherization, all those kind of things. So if you got some time and need to volunteer, you want to give a dollar to see that dollar work in this community, you can use those organizations. I sit on East Mississippi Planning and Development Board. We're the liaison between cities, counties, and the state. We get the grant money. You know, when you're doing bridges, police departments, you buying vests for police officers and all those kind of things. I sit on their board of directors. Most people don't realize that. So, and that's covered within those 9 counties. Multi-county cover 9 counties. I also sit on Workforce Development Board. Workforce Development Board, we cover 24 counties. And with that, we do those things like dislocated workers on the job training, the WIN Job Center, all of those things fall up under this. Those people in this community, they never see me in those meetings, but I'm at those meetings all the time making decisions about things that goes on here with the unemployment office, with Meridian Community College and business and industry and all of those things. And all of those are just volunteer things that I do outside of this community that affect this community directly. Just need to put that in because sometimes people say they don't see you.
Yeah.
Man, I'm busy, I'm working, I don't
Yeah,
have
you
time
are.
for that
I'm
BS, you
telling
know.
you.
Don't.
You really are.
Yeah,
a busy person.
I
You do a
really
lot.
up and down the
Yeah.
road going to these meetings, sitting in and stuff like that. I sit in a meeting just last week with a bunch of engineers trying to learn about stormwater because I didn't have someone down there to let me start that walking track. So I said, I go down there and get the training myself.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Dice man.
Hey, just tell them they can leave my name in their will if that's what they want to. That's what they calling about.
Yes, sir. All right, we got, let's see here. We got Tristan B. Hampton says, good evening, guys. Dice, where is your mask? LOL.
That's right. Get on him about the mask. Socially
Tristan.
distant. Wear your mask. Stay away from crowds.
Dice don't wear masks unless he absolutely have to. Anyway, I'll leave that right there.
I'm going to treat Dice like I do family when his mic is off.
Yes, sir.
Put your mask on, man.
All right. Patricia Allen says, hi, Eddie, Dice, and guest.
Hey, Trish.
Loretta Bennett says, greetings.
Greetings. She already introduced herself, didn't she, Joe?
That's right.
Antonia Owens says, hi, everyone.
Hey, Tony.
Hey there,
That's
Tony.
my shouter there.
Dennis Allen says, hi. What's up, brother Dennis?
Hey, brother Dennis.
Loretta Bennett also says, Eddie Hope been teaching martial arts for years and having Percy Bland allowed Mr. Hope to teach this class. It would help women defend themselves against criminals.
True.
Crystal Harris says it would also teach the kids discipline as well as self-defense.
That's right.
You going to charge for that class? I'll find you a place to teach it. You want to do it for the community?
I'll do it for the community.
I'll find you a
I'd be
place to
glad
teach the class.
I'd be glad to.
Hell, I sponsor
We
your class
need it.
if you're going to help the neighborhood or
Yeah,
the
I will.
community. All
I'd be
right.
glad
Okay,
to.
I'm going to take you up on that now.
All right.
Don't play with me, Eddie.
I don't play.
Hell, I quit school because of recess, man. I don't play.
Tough.
I'm the one stop recess at school because of
That's
that.
what I'm talking about. Get up and chew on nails in the morning time before I leave.
I got a bed of nails in there. That's one of the things I do. I got a bed of nails in there that I lay on and put the cinder block on my chest, and they break. That's a 10-pound sledgehammer I got in there.
I've seen that done, man.
Well, I do it. I've done that, and I'm gonna do it again at 70. Well, not at 70, at 67. Maybe 67 next month. So I'll do it again next month.
And keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Yeah, you've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Thais said, "Good evening, everyone."
Hello.
Hello, Thais. Felicia Brown says, "Hello, Eddie and Dice Man. I always enjoy the podcast."
Hello.
But thank you, Miss Brown. Katara Holt says, "Hi, Dad."
Hey, baby. She just had surgery, so she's back at work. So I'm glad of that, baby.
What's up, cuz? Keep checking on your dad over here.
Yeah.
You may have to pull him in a headlock every now and then. He'll be all right.
I know how to get out of here, baby.
That's what I know. Hey, that's what love is for us, girl. Love your daddy.
All Gas No Brakes 81 says, "Hello, fellas."
Hello.
Hey there, All Gas No Brakes. Patricia Allen says, "When we say COVID is at the bottom of the list, it's sending the wrong statement. The fact remains, treat everyone as if they are positive regardless of the numbers."
That's right.
That's right, Miss Nurse. Trisha's
That's
a
right.
nurse.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about right there. Hey, look here, y'all. Don't forget now, the debate is tonight.
That's right. We
Yeah, we got to go there, man. We
Yeah.
got a party watching the debate, man. That got to be a great show coming
That's
up.
right.
Plus, I'm going to be tuned into a Zoom meeting that has already started with Mike Espy that started from 7 to 8 as well. So I'm gonna
We
be
got to
joining
do all
them later.
like I can tell you if you listen to Joe speak, he's a blue blood Democrat. I mean, and I admire and respect that. And we got to vote. We got to get the vote out, and we got to vote straight Democratic ticket.
Yeah. I just said y'all got to get out there. Make sure you. Hey, let me. If y'all don't hear anything else I said, I want to make sure that you protect yourself and wear a mask, socially distance yourself, and all of those good things. But I want everybody to make sure you call and check and make sure your voter registration is up to par.
That's right.
Let me tell you why. I voted for myself this past November.
Mm-hmm.
I have voted in every election since I was 18 years old except one. I showed up a month or so ago when Mississippi Power remember the city had that referendum about the franchise fee. I showed up at my precinct, Prince of Peace. They sent me to the fire station. The fire station said, "Go to Prince of Peace." I said, "No, I just left there." They sent me here. Fire station sent me to City Hall. I got to City Hall. They told me I was inactive.
Wow.
My name has been purged from the roll from November up to now, and I am a county supervisor. So if I can get purged from the roll,
Folks,
you
check-
better go check, because
check it
if
and
you
make
show up
sure.
in November thinking I registered, hey, they purging you from the roll. There's more than 7,500 people was purged from Lauderdale County Road, mostly in Ward 2 and District 4, and District 2 in Lauderdale County. So you better make sure that your voting status is up to date and current, because if we had not had that special election,
You never.
I
gonna
would
know.
have never known on November the 3rd that Joe Norwood, a 6-term supervisor, has been purged from the rolls in Lauderdale County.
Wow.
Now, you think this thing is a hoax if you want to, and it is a hoax. That's what they calling it.
Yeah.
So you have to realize that whether you like it or not, we hear that from this administration. And one thing I can say I like about Donald Trump, he don't make no damn bone secret about it. He tell you exactly what he gonna do, when he gonna do it, and how he gonna do it. You better listen to him. Hey, the man tell you now.
Sure do.
I respect that in him. He tell you,
Yeah.
so it ain't no secret about what he doing, and you shouldn't be surprised.
That's
He
right.
tell us.
That's right.
So don't be surprised about that. Go down there and make sure your registration is active, and take your butt to the poll and vote for
vote.
your children and your grandchildren. Mom and daddy, our ancestors will roll over in our grave who didn't have the right to vote or the authority to vote. And now we have every means in this world, and we won't take 10 minutes out of our life on election day to go down there and vote. That is the one thing everybody can do that'll make an impact in their lives and the lives of their children. Go vote. All
And
I
that
can
is
say.
so true, and that was profound. You would have to have voted by affidavit.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then that means once I voted by
5
affidavit,
days.
I still got to go down there
And
and
show
show
up. That's
up
right.
and stuff like
And
that.
a lot of people ain't gonna do
People
that.
get discouraged with
That's
that.
right. That's right. You're telling the truth.
Hey, you better make sure your name is active on there because,
Sure.
like I said, I've been in the world more than 6 decades and I've voted in every election except one, and I was purged from the rolls and I voted for myself in November.
Yeah.
Thank God Mississippi Power had that franchise fees, and I discovered that I had been purged from the rolls
That's right.
as inactive.
I think I voted against it. It passed, but I voted against it.
Why would you vote against it?
I didn't know a lot about it.
Okay, well, I can tell you what the difference was. The difference
Well, it
between
was.
2% and 5% over 25 years. 2%
Oh, yeah.
and 3%. And 1% over 5 years when you're talking that kind of money.
Yeah,
Man, you're talking in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
that's right. That's right. Dice, what's next?
All right. Small town Mississippi says that 282,000, half of that pays his salary. EMBDC, ribbon cuttings, business before hours or business after hours. If they still have it, it's a joke, and it's crazy that y'all give that much money.
Okay, what do you want us to do? We are part-time supervisors. We don't have anybody hired to do economic development for us. So if we not going to fund an organization that's going to go out and recruit these business and industry, you have to realize people from all over the world do come in here. Because I spend time with companies and other developers are coming in this time. There's one thing they always ask us, and I'm going to share this with you. And most of the time, when we entertain other people outside of here with business and industry, there's one thing they ask us to do.
What that?
Please don't mention it. And the minute it get out in the public, you can forget anybody ever want to come here because they can't trust you. And that's one of the things I have in this business right here. You got to build relationships and trust. Those people don't want, because we're competing against other communities. It used to be a time you were competing against your own neighborhoods and stuff like that. This stuff is worldwide now, man.
Yeah.
The world is all connected to that kind of stuff. You may be competing against other regions and other parts of the country and those kind of things. So if someone asks me while I'm sitting in a meeting not to discuss the fact that they are here looking at properties, and I used to get, I ain't gonna say tired, but I did a lot of showing people around, this is what we got, this is what available. It just take a long time to do that. I know in '08, we were just showing people, we thought we were gonna get all of these Krispy Kreme donuts, the other Home Depot, all of these people, Targets. We was on target to get all that. And when the market crashed and all that, they put us all back on the back burner. And now we got to work our way back up through that. But at the same time, if people need to take an active role in their livelihood, need to take an active role in the political process, you need to make sure that you're registered. If you're 18 years of age and you bleed red blood in your cell, you need to get your butt up and go out there and voice your opinion by registering to vote, and don't let nothing in this world keep a man or a woman from voting if you're 18 years of age and got blood in your body.
Yeah, I agree. There's some people that right across the street, Quincy Twin Shop, he don't vote.
I know a lot of people don't vote.
Well,
Hey, look
that's
here,
sad.
Mike
You can't
Tyson
talk
just
to him.
announced he's 54 years old and
vote
just
for the
registered
first
to
time.
vote for
And
the
all
first
the money
time.
we done gave him.
I feel like punching Mike out myself.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I like to see that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't last long.
Look here, hey,
But-
look,
and
for the
not
amount of
even
money
with
he
that
was
Mike.
fighting for, I don't want it to last long. I fight Mike for that kind of money.
But you know
I
what?
steal Mike, man.
You
You
wouldn't
must
even.
don't know.
You could steal Fat Mike and you gonna get knocked out. I'm talking about any things ain't gonna be the same. I might be able to last with him a little bit.
I don't play that either, man. Look, I ain't scared of Mike.
Any more comments, guys?
Yeah. Patricia Allen says, I agree with you totally, Eddie. It's not about personal feelings. Not sure what that's referring to.
We got to be able to detach ourselves, like what Joe said.
You got to do that,
you
man.
Can't. It can't be personal, because if it's personal, you'll never get the job
You'll never
done.
do that. Let me tell you something. Even family and stuff is like that. And, you know, me and my wife had a conversation all the time about that. And I say, baby, so much stuff come at me, I can't afford to let stuff like that stick. I can't afford to let people personality and attitude stick to me, because I got to turn around and work with them, their families, and their friends
right.
the next day. I don't take it personal, man, and I move on with that. I just don't have time. You know what I call it, right? Chewed up grass.
Call it what?
Chewed up grass.
Chewed up grass.
Yeah.
Cool.
In other words, that bullshit.
Okay.
Joe, you something else.
Hey, you invited me, man.
I'm glad you
Yeah, you
came.
called me in the early afternoon, man. I got a debate party going on, and I'm missing a Zoom meeting with the next senator of Mississippi, Mike Espy.
Mike Haskell.
Okay.
Yeah.
We gonna vote for him.
Yeah, I'm pushing Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known Mike for years. I remember when he was with the Clinton administration.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
right.
his wife. I know his son. I know his family. I don't have any choice. I mean, if you know people like that, I know them. And then I ain't got nothing bad to say about Sydney. You
Yeah.
know, it's just the fact that I'm supporting Mike.
Yeah.
I'll tell anybody that.
Yeah.
Okay. You got Katara Holt says the maid would have to pass your oldest daughter's interview process. Kendall Holt says we as black people can't depend on a president, our political party, or our political party to save our communities.
That's right.
That's right.
That's why I say to people, this election ain't about Democrats and Republican. This election is about the savior of democracy.
Yeah.
Because if you don't realize it or not, there are things that happen in this administration ain't never happened in the world. They don't have laws in place to deal with a president.
Only in places like Iran and Iraq.
I know.
Where they have dictatorships.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
North
don't want
Korea.
that. North Korea, we
Yeah.
got to get Russia.
So we got to vote Vladimir
Yeah.
Putin out
Yeah.
this time around.
That's right.
Yeah.
We got our little local Vladimir Putin too. We got Percy too. We think
Come on,
he's,
man. Lay
think
off
he's
your
Trump
man
light.
like that. Come on. Now, here's the other thing. When I hear people say we need to get rid of him, here's what I always ask, and I just have to do this.
Go ahead
I'm
and
the
ask
devil
me,
that.
'cause I'm
I
ready
say,
to answer.
okay, and replace him with who?
Joe Norwood, or in my case right now, it's Weston Linderman.
Man, if you elect me, I won't even serve.
Yes, you would, and you'll do a good job.
Man, my wife got this big map, and she been highlighting all of these places when it's COVID on where we got to go turn up the grass and kick up some dust and
the
soil.
problem with this mayor here is that he's always here. If he had qualified people that knew their job and cared about this community, he could be going to all them little places you and your wife got on y'all little map.
Well,
that
look
y'all
at him,
going
man.
to.
He tried to
called
hire.
delegating.
He tried to hire a guy like me and couldn't get 3 votes on the council to do it. What you think?
I don't know.
What do you
They
think
don't
about
want
that
nothing
now?
good for they don't want anything good for this city, and it's just time for him to. It's time for us to do something new. We need for all of them to go. We need
I
for them to
understand.
go.
Well,
We need to
here's
go.
the deal. All I can say is, if that's the way this community feel, you have your choice next year.
We sure
The
will.
ballot is sacred. You can go in that booth and vote for whoever the hell you
Y'all
want to
heard
vote
that.
for.
Say it again, Joe.
That's right. Go in there and do it. If
It's
you like
sacred.
Percy, vote for him. If you don't like him, vote for one of the other 5 or 6 people that are going to be on the race. But here's the other thing. Don't go out there and just put somebody in office just saying you're getting rid of somebody. You
Well,
know,
we
the
going to
community
sit
is where
down
it
and we
is.
want to know what it is that they're going to do different, who it is that you're going to put here to run this place, and that place. We're not going in the blind anymore. And then we want somebody to not to be fickle, that can stick to things and work things out. We've had how many CAOs, how many chief of police, and we're still in transition, and that's bad for this city.
If I was the mayor, I'd walk in the office on day one with one employee, and that's my CO, and I start from there.
Yeah.
And I go to every department in Woods and make sure I spend time and discover and understand how it all works. It's a lot to deal with, man, in county and city
And
government.
then get rid of every single last one of them.
I don't have that
On the
problem.
first day, they go and clean the board. I had that. Get out. Go.
Let me share this with you. When I was brought in to chair the nonprofit in Multi-County, we covered 9 counties. We had 49 employees. When I discovered the chairman had a heart attack and passed, they automatically stuck me in as chairman of the board, and I'd never done nonprofit. We were $2.2 million in the red. We went out and built that building for $1.3 million. I got a $600,000 grant. I went to Bank Plus and borrowed $700,000. Today, we're about $700,000 in debt. That's with the building and merging the $2.2 million in. Got 26 employees serving twice as many people as the 49 was serving. So
That's cool.
you got to come in and you got to make sure you assess where you are and determine where you need to go, and you need to get busy headed that way. Because
That's
if
right.
not, you're to blame.
That's right.
You're the one that's going to make sure that it continue to fail. It's sad the day that the hands build an organization are the same hands that destroy one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I think if somebody been around long enough and they ain't got the job done, it's okay for people to look somewhere else.
That's right.
Yeah, move on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dice.
Okay. Katara Holt says, Patricia Allen, I agree. If we treat everyone like they have COVID and use safe practices, the numbers may begin to decline. Okay. Dolores Holt says, "Good evening, Gray, Dice Man, and Joe."
Good evening.
Preach.
That's my first wife, Joe.
Your first wife?
Dolores, Spanish
Dolores.
for Spanish for pain.
Hey, Dolores, you got to be a sweet lady. You're still checking on this old boy.
Well, Dolores is Spanish for pain
For pain?
or trouble. I think it was me though. Now she's a sweet person. She's a retired military, very successful, a strong, beautiful black lady.
Yeah, you can tell she's strong. Because, you know, if she wasn't strong, she
Now
wouldn't have the
Tony
maturity
ain't
to
gonna
pick
like
up the
what I
phone and call.
just. Now Tony ain't gonna like what I just said. Now I'm gonna get stabbed because
I
she
don't
from
know
the
Tony.
hood. That's my lady.
Oh, okay. Tony, it's okay. We like that. We just love people. We ain't nothing personal. We ain't doing
That's
nothing
right.
outside of what we don't supposed to do.
That's right. That's my big brother there. I'm the oldest, but he's my big brother. Took up for me that was then. Two Belt, how you doing? You and Miss Two Belt.
All right. Dolores also says, "But the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors built this country. You know we are not going anywhere."
That's right.
All right. I agree with you. It's only like 40 million black folks in America now, you know, and then they talk about reparation. We supposed to be getting 40 acres and a mule. Like I said, I'll take a penthouse and you can give me a convertible. You can have the mule and your 40 acres if you really want to. But everybody ain't got theirs except African American. I have no problem with that. And when people talk reparation, yeah, I'm in on it. Give me my money.
That's right. Did you know that Mississippi is almost 40% black? It has
I
a
know.
higher percentage of black people
I
than any
know.
other state in the union.
That's right.
There's no reason why we should be treated, and we're treated worse as a race of people in Mississippi than we are anywhere else in the union.
Mississippi
and
has
we have
more-
less resources. Our children are not educated. I mean, we have a higher mortality rate
That's
and
right.
everything, and it shouldn't be like that. But it's that thing like what happened to you. These are things that they've been doing since Reconstruction with that compromise of 1877 when they removed all the federal troops and they started implementing Jim Crow and laws with intimidation. They're coming up with clever, sophisticated ways of purging the foes and keeping us from voting. And we cannot believe that our vote don't count, and we got to vote. We got to get out and vote, and we got to vote blue this time.
Hey, you remember when our ancestors used to have to answer the question, how many seeds in
That's
a watermelon?
right. That's right.
Yeah. How many jelly beans in that jar?
I just went through that.
Yeah, I know. They
I'm
just
talking
what
about
it
I
is.
just
It's a
went through it
poll
with
tax.
this administration when I was trying to get on the ballot. They asked me how many seeds. They asked me
How many seeds in a watermelon?
Then I count them. If I said 10, they say it's 12. Well, I
Yeah.
tell you, ain't nothing I could do to
Can't
qualify.
Hey,
Yeah.
that is ridiculous, and
Yeah.
some of these people should be ashamed of themselves
Yeah,
and
the
sad.
poll
Some
tax
of
and
them
all
gonna
the
have
things.
to
Yeah.
pray to go to hell. Some of these low-life people who feel like they need to treat us that kind of way. I
That's
don't
right.
like people mistreating anybody,
Same
care
here.
who they are.
It's Dice.
Okay. Patricia Allen says, "Low done asked 100 questions."
Logo on that 200 questions. I ain't mad at you, Lo. You keep asking. Let me say something about Lola.
Go
You may
ahead.
not like her. You may not respect her, however it is. But hell, my hearing of Lolo, she help educate people. She do anything for the community. When she was running for supervisor, I said, let me tell you something. Lolo's service record is better than any person in public office.
That's right.
It really is, because
I
she's
agree.
going to help people, and I know she's going to do that.
And-
And when you talk about service, I just had to say this. I had to give myself a toot on the horn, because you don't see me advertising or doing anything. I challenge anybody to listen to your podcast. If you want to know what service is, go back for the last 30 years and think of everybody that you elected in this community to serve in the last 30 years. And you can go back 10 years, and you can take what I've done inside the city of Meridian, and the people that you elected over the last 30 years would
couldn't
not
match
be
it or touch it.
Absolutely not. And I'm a county supervisor
Yeah.
that has no jurisdiction over the city. I just know
And
how
I
to
know you're telling the
collaborate.
truth because I've been here in those last 30 years. And I
You got to
know.
fight for your people,
Yeah.
man. It's about service.
I
Serve your
helped you
people.
when you first ran.
You
helped
did. I
sure
know.
did.
I know. And I appreciate that. That's why I'm here now. You called me and asked me to come. I said, I'll make it happen. You thought I wasn't coming.
I ain't know what. I thought I was going to knock you out.
I know. I told my
Roundhouse
wife,
kick.
I said, baby, you know, I may have to go in here and jack this dude that's going in the door.
Hey,
He
she
got
came
the
in
same
here.
old
She's
blood
from
that I
Chicago, and she came in here holding on her purse
I
like that.
told
You
you.
know?
Man, I had to bring reinforcements with me. What's side?
Hey, my little posse in there, them my children, they
I
ain't
know.
going. Hey, Dice got a pistol over there that he got from his grandfather. There's a
All right.
22 like I seen when I was 10. I'm telling
Hey, man, wearing these masks is kind of funny because sometimes you go to the door of a store and you say, dog, I need to go back and get a mask. And then you walking in the door and you put the mask on. Before, that didn't work for us, man. That didn't work for us.
Oh, that didn't
I had
work
to
for
now.
us.
Dangerous back then.
That is dangerous.
Yeah, you go to jail to get shot.
Man, I let people know I'm coming up here. Hey, look, I'm just needing to get a Coke out of here. It's Norwood. How y'all done? I'm mama them. Yeah.
All right, Dice.
All right. Patricia Allen also says, preach Joe, money should go to the Boys and Girls Club.
It should.
Yeah. Now, the county contribute now. You can
How
check
much
with
did y'all
Ricky.
give? Do you know?
What do you mean how much we give Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah.
Ask Ricky Hood. I deliver Ricky Hood a check every quarter for $25,000.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Now, you may not realize that if you go there, the gym floor, the sound system, the tables, the chairs, all the benches on the outside, the paint on the wall, all that came out of my budget. You ain't never heard that.
Sure have.
Ask him. He'll tell you.
Well, we have a lot of respect for Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky, let me tell you something, man. I know if it wasn't for Ricky Hood, there'd be a lot of young men who would be back in trouble, be in trouble.
And he's like you, too. You don't know a lot of the things that he does.
ain't gonna let
but
you know.
How about I've heard some things, and I ain't talked about it, I heard some of the things that he's done. He's
Ricky,
done some
man,
good
you
things.
would be
Heard
shocked
it
to know
lately,
some
yeah.
of the stuff that Ricky do for people in this community. I love Ricky Hood.
I'm shocked at some of the things the person has done for people in this community, too.
Okay, well, that's a good
That
thing.
was
or
a
bad
pun.
thing?
That's a bad thing. That's a
was a bad
pun.
thing?
That's
okay.
being sarcastic.
I understand.
I'm shocked at some of the things that Percy Bland has done to the people in this community. And let me say it correctly.
Y'all got this love-hate relationship with one
We
another.
don't. We really don't. I really have a lot of respect for him as an individual person. I just don't like his management style.
I understand.
I think he's corrupt. I think he's a crook. I think he's headed to prison. I've talked to the FBI myself personally. Well, not the FBI intake people. I did a couple of judicial performance complaint against a couple of judges since I'm bound by some law where I can't talk about it, so I ain't gonna mention their name, but I mentioned it before. So I'm gonna go back and look at previous shows and know who I'm talking about. I've also done probably about 3 bar complaints, and that's why I scare them when I go into their room, because not that I'm Big Bad John. Everybody's doing something wrong just about, and they're afraid that if I'm in there that I'm going to report what they're doing, and I will.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm just glad
Somebody
I'm on your
got to-
side, because, hell, I would hate for you to have to talk about me like
I'm going
that.
to whoop you. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Joe, I gave you that old look the other day on
I
that
know,
show. I
I
gave you
know.
that look. I said, that's why he coming like that. I looked in the camera. I pulled my glass off. I said, I ain't scared of your ass.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm looking at you now.
Hey, you know how me and this guy first got connected, right? Him and one of his proteges was talking about me on radio.
Oh, boy.
You know what I did? I drove to
Went
the
down
radio
there.
station and walked up in there. Wait a minute, man. I don't like the way y'all handling my name. Here I am. Let's talk about
You
this,
talking
man.
about Truth Master?
Yeah, you
I
know
think
that.
that was the most of the Truth Master show then.
Yeah, wait a minute, y'all.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
hey.
Truth Master had to eat crow.
Yeah, here I am. Talk to me.
Yeah.
That's y'all misleading me here.
Yeah.
No, but I'm trying to just do what I can, man. It
Well,
requires
we'll-
an effort not to. You know, it's easy just
Man,
to do
you
it and
fighting
be
by
through with it.
yourself, and we appreciate you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's a lot of things we could talk about, but you know, it ain't necessary. And I ain't
I'll
talking
come
about
back
you.
sometime, you know.
Yeah, we do want you to come back. So maybe in a couple of weeks or so,
Yeah,
give you a chance
I'll
to
be
get some
happy to
other
do
things
that.
going. So in about a couple on the same time, like on a Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday probably would be good. Yeah.
Okay, 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, probably. I can't, man. Let me tell you something.
So
When you
we
say
got-
that, I tell you what. You know we'll talk.
We'll talk.
And
So
I just make sure
Alright.
that 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now is like the 13th or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that look like it's something can work for us.
Okay, so we're looking
Yeah.
at low kind
That's
of
right. That's the day after Columbus Day and Indigenous People Day. So
Isn't
yeah,
that
it'll be
something?
thing. Yeah.
They shouldn't have no day after that, man.
Columbus Day.
Columbus.
You know Columbus discovered the world, America, right? That's what they taught me in school.
That's what
Do
they
you
taught
believe
me.
that,
Yeah, I
boy?
remember that.
They taught
I
me that
remember that.
Columbus discovered
And it was
America.
a lie. He was lost. He was
Man, I started studying for myself, and Columbus had more slaves than
Sure did.
anybody did. And hell, America had been discovered over there, and
right.
they gonna put that in a book and
How
teach
about I
me.
thought about that when I was
craziest
learning
stuff
that. I
I've
said,
heard.
well, how would you discover something when people are already here? And another thing, too, and I said this on my show before, when I first heard the story of Jesus on the cross,
Yeah.
I said, well, God got all the power. Why didn't he just change things? And that lady couldn't answer that question.
Yeah.
I asked that question when I was like about like 4 years old. I said,
Uh-huh.
why didn't God, if God got all this power, why didn't God just change things? Why would God let his son die for us when he could just change things?
Yeah, I don't know. God teaches us just different things. It's good. We got at least that to believe on too. I understand the Bible is one of those things that you got to study and show yourself approval. You know.
Well, you sound like that sound come straight from the Bible right there. I read
Yeah.
that before. I read that and I don't
But
know what it said.
that is true because nowadays you don't know who to trust anymore,
Yeah.
man. And you know, and it's not that I'm trying to harm or hurt anybody. I just don't want anybody
How about-
misleading
how
me, and I
about
do
we-
something to hurt myself or others.
How about now? What you just said was a profound statement. You don't know who to trust, and trust is
You don't.
something that. And I'm gonna say this to the camera: trust is something that it take you a lifetime to build, but you can destroy it with one act.
One act.
One act can destroy.
You know, I
thousands.
can say something on this
ahead.
radio show today, and it will offend someone.
That's right.
And they'll hate me forever, and I will never know it. And that's
Right.
why I always say to people, you know, if you got a question to my man, you can call me
Come
and
and
ask
talk
me.
about it.
I give
Honest
you-
conversation.
Yeah, just honest
Craig
conversation.
Houston, honest conversation.
Honest
That's
conversation.
his favorite
yeah.
word.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna read these last few statements for the sake of time, so we can get out of here for that debate and all that good stuff. Patricia Allen says, I must say, Dice, Running Away, great choice and song. I wish everyone would pay close attention to the lyrics. I definitely agree. Thank you. All Gas No Brakes says, the Boys and Girls Club always get looked over. 25,000 ain't no money.
Well, what are
Okay.
you putting in? And I only give my time, but let me share this with you. Now, here's something else you need to know about
And
the
it's
Boys and Girls Club.
25,000
A
times
quarter.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
100
that's
grand.
100 grand.
I tell you what, before I got there, they wasn't getting a damn penny. So you have to look at, you got to start somewhere. And so if you want to do something different, find somebody that think like me and send them down there and let me work with them, and maybe we can give them $200,000. Here's something else you need to understand
And
about
that
the Boys
come out of
Girls
your
Club.
budget, am I right or wrong?
Absolutely. Here's something else you need to understand about the Boys and Girls Club. Red Cross and the Boys and Girls Club are the only two non-profit organizations that has legislation that for the Boys and Girls Club, and you need to credit Mike Moore with this, former Attorney General Mike Moore. Mike Moore put legislation in that cities and counties can contribute up to $250,000 of revenue per year to local Boys and Girls Club. Communities all over this state call me trying
That's
to
about
pattern what we are
About
doing now.
$200,000.
For Lauderdale County, that'll be
$250,000.
somewhere in the neighborhood about $150,000 to $200,000 a year. So we putting it in. We
Yeah.
doing what we want to do. We go over there. We keep the grass cut. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when they have a problem like that,
In
call me.
addition to the money.
Absolutely.
That's right.
We own the building. So you own the courthouse. So you gonna let the grass grow up at the courthouse?
That's right.
Okay. You own the Boys and Girls Club. Cut the grass over there.
Joe,
Ain't no
one-
different. It's
I
just
gotta
who it's
say
serving.
this. Dice, go and read them statements. Then I want to say this, and then we're going to take it home. Go ahead, Dice.
Okay. All right. Kirk Hope says, good evening, bruh. Having a plan, but making it transparent so the people can see the plan and keep them to their plan.
That's my brother. That's Joe. That's your other cousin.
Hey, cuz all I can say is you got to plan your work and work your plan.
Thanks for that, bro. Love you. Anyone else?
A few more here.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Mary Etheridge says, person has a lot of money he can scam with the new budget.
I always hear them talking about people stealing money. I ain't learned how to do that yet, and I don't want to know how. All I can tell you, if you take any money from a city, a county, a state, or federal government, you can get away with it for 2 years. And after the auditors come in there, all right, what you want me to send you as a care package at the department, because I'm going to have to put you a care package together. They got a new auditor called Chad White now. He ain't playing. He getting you, buddy. it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mary Etheridge also says, "Good evening, guys."
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Patricia Allen says, "Great show, Eddie. Thanks, Mr. Norwood. My brother William always said you were outstanding."
Well, hey, brother, I appreciate hearing that.
He passed.
Yeah. We used to be in the barber shop together,
Yeah.
and I did. You know, he had passed for months, and I did not know it because I asked the barber, "When the last time Lee been down there?"
Yeah.
And he looked at me, "Man, you know he passed," and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not. See, another thing, I don't do social media, so I don't keep up with a lot of stuff.
Okay, All Gas No Break says, 81 says, "I'm not talking about the money coming from your budget. I'm saying period. The Boys and Girls Club gets looked over versus other businesses getting much more."
Well, the Boys and Girls Club is not a business. That is a organization.
Nonprofit.
So business is that way. So see, and that's one of those things when people say stuff. I'm one of those guys. I want to make sure we are clear about the mission.
That's right.
And the Boys and Girls Club has legislation, and we can contribute up to $250,000 of revenue per year to them, and we do that. The boys of supervisors do a very good job of looking after the Boys and Girls Club. So I think that is good. Anybody else? And then I heard them talking about Jimmy Rogers. You may not believe this. Jimmy Rogers is one of those international things that is well known all over the world from Meridian, Mississippi, and we don't capitalize on it. I heard them talking about the arts and entertainment. Now, here's the deal. The city pledged $1 million, the county pledged $2 million. So that $100,000 going towards their $1 million pledge. Okay. It's the same way with the Children's Museum. So you need to understand why is it that they gave them $100,000. Well, you pledged $1 million, and that's just a payment on your $1 million. Okay. You follow what I'm saying? So those are kind of things I just want to make sure that people truly understand that, and I think you have a better. You may not agree with it, but it's what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and last but not least, Dennis Allen says she wasn't referring to Joe about the $25,000.
She was talking about
the city.
The city.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, I just want to thank you for coming here, and I want to thank all you guys for listening. And I got to do this now. This here, see now, can't you see it now? This it says beautiful wife. Oh, look at him.
Hey, I find me a sweet thing.
Anyway, I want to thank you guys for listening and everything. I want to thank all you guys for your comments and everything. Make sure you subscribe, like us. And also, I want to ask Joe one question before we go, and then we're going to take it home. Joe.
Yes, sir.
Now, I understand about history, and I understand about this country not being built for us. But the statue out there, can y'all turn that into a museum? Can you guys cover that up and so all those people that want to see it, they can go in there and pray, eat lunch or whatever they want to do, but it's offensive to black folks because of what it represents.
I understand.
So couldn't you present something to the supervisors asking them to build something around it? They can keep that statue there and they can cover it up and people can go in there, take pictures, make love, whatever they want to do,
I understand that.
And that's black or white. They want to go in there.
Let me share something with you with the statue. I had that young lady
Inspired. I was there, so I understand.
Yeah, so you understand that.
Let
Let me share with you about the statue. The statue been there for a while. Now, you are not going to find 3 votes on the Board of Supervisors do anything with that statue.
That's right. So what we got to do, again, we got to change some people's on that board.
Absolutely. Now, here's the other thing about it. Maybe you need to find you a statue of civil rights or something and erect, and then you have to find a way to raise the money. There are a lot of statues that can be done.
We don't want to do tit for tat. What we want to do is cover
I'm just telling you, here's how that works.
Can you get the votes to build something around it?
No.
Because they want to offend us, don't they?
No. Well, like I said, man, I mean, some people do.
Yeah.
You know, that I just don't see that statue going anywhere and stuff like that. And if you think it's
if you do something to it.
Absolutely, it's a felony to do something. If you think that's offensive to you, did you realize the Confederate flag stood over my shoulder for the past 20 years?
That's right.
Now, here's the other thing. I took an oath to serve. The flag was a state flag. I don't have nothing to do with it. You follow what I'm saying? Until they came back and voted that out. So I had to live and work up under that flag every day because we're a state statue.
That's right.
Okay, now it's gone. It's okay. But Those are the things you got to find a way to get above and get around that, man.
That's right.
For me, I don't have time to let that kind of stuff occupy my time.
We got a lot of other things that's a lot more pertinent in our community to dealing with our children, and I agree with
I
it.
just don't have the time to deal with those kind of things. Now, don't think I don't fight for it.
Yeah.
But if you ain't got the votes,
Yeah, we don't have the votes.
politics is the only place where
We'll
math
never
is
have the
not
votes
exact.
because the way it's set up, we can only get, if we can ever get one, let's see, redraw those district lines. But folks, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Joe. I want to thank your wife. I want to thank you, Dice. And I want to thank you out there. Dice, take us home. Joe, you coming back, ain't you?
I come back, man.
People keep on learning. Soldiers keep on warring. World keep on turning. 'Cause it won't be too long. Powers keep on lying while your people keep on dying. World keep on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. I'm so darn glad he let me try it again. 'Cause my last time on earth I lived a whole world of sin. I'm so glad that I know more than I knew then. Gonna keep on trying till I reach my highest ground. Teachers keep on teaching. Preachers